I'm Simon. I'm an innovation consultant and systems designer, and I co-head the Hybrid City Lab. I work with urban organizations to explore ways to create more fair and equitable futures for the public spaces that we live in. I think I've always been interested in understanding how social systems evolve and understanding a little bit the patterns behind this. And I think there are a few major patterns. One, obviously, I would say digitalization, but another major theme I would say is urbanization. To understand that, I feel a perfect kind of form where we can see these major patterns take place as a city. So a city for me is observable space or place where we can see these major developments actually take shape. And I like working in or within and with cities because I feel that's where we can observe but also change how these developments take place. I think a lot of this takes place in cities, and this is why I like working in these places as well. So my day-to-day work, I think, usually falls in at least one or three buckets, I would say. One is strategic design and foresight, which has a lot to do with understanding where we are, where we come from, and where we want to go. And when I say we, it's usually us and some kind of organization. I think the second one would probably be translating these ideas about the future into some kinds of interventions, projects, prototypes, which eventually even has to do with, I would say, service design or product design. This is probably the second bucket. And the third one, which is a research one. So this has a lot to do with reflection and analysis, a systemic understanding about the major trends or shifts that are taking place and the leverage points that we can then focus on. And the result of that work usually are studies, papers, contributions, even publications. In my work, I usually work, I would say, with 3 to 4 different types of clients or organizations. One of them obviously being public organizations such as administrations and municipalities, even ministries, federal ones. We also work a lot with private organizations, corporations, and companies, provide a lot of the infrastructures and the services that you find in the city. And I would add to that, the third one is definitely civil society organizations. These civil society organizations can be NGOs, can be foundations. Understanding the city as a context for the organizations that I work with. What role would I take in this collaboration? Probably it's something like providing a point of reflection. Usually I think that is probably what anybody that would call themselves a consultant would probably do with an organization, being some kind of point of reflection to help bring observations and perspective in the discussion that are not there yet. Looking at the education, which I think is crucial, is to be able to switch sides in a way. Understand very well what a specific profession brings with it, but also understanding where that boundary lies, making that explicit and saying, so I'm seeing this as a design problem, for instance. What do you think as, I don't know, a psychologist? Maybe you have a very, very different understanding of growth, of learning. Maybe to add one more thing, I'm not sure this is only the job of the educators or of the universities or wherever we look. Understanding the limits of the own perspective and learning a little bit more about the others is also something that can happen definitely outside of the uni.